I am ready.
All right, we started.
All right, we're about to start in three, two, one.
Appreciate it.
All right, good evening, good morning, everybody, whatever time you associate 1:27 in the morning with. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for, this is northern Pickens County. There's the Lamar County line. So there's Shaw, Liberty, Coalfire. This is Highway 82 as you leave Pickens County and you head into Mississippi. Here's the storm in question right here. So what they've done is issued a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. And essentially what that says is there's no evidence yet that there's been a tornado with this particular cell, but it's suspicious enough that we got to watch it. There's certainly some very strong winds associated with it. You see these brighter greens right in here, and that's something that, when we talk about these storms, you can still have them be relatively dangerous and damaging even if it's just straight line wind. So right now there's a tornado warning just across the state line. This is Mississippi. This is Alabama. This polygon right here includes Pickens County. So if you live in Ethelsville, probably tell you, get to your safe place, right? We don't have any confirmation that there is a tornado associated with this, but doesn't mean we can't see one develop at any given point in time. And this is going to be moving off to the north and east. See if we can get a track drawn on this just to get a general idea of where this is headed, how long it's going to take. Because it is moving off to the northeast. Most of these are unfortunately moving relatively slowly here. So we put this just south of Highway 82 near Ethelsville at about 1:45, about 15 to 17 minutes from now. A little further north, just past Highway 82 by about 1:50, 1:52. So again, this is the part of the storm that we'd be worried about. Let's switch over to reflectivity and see if there's anything of note as far as the lightning strikes, maybe anything with hail. I don't see anything concrete in here that would show that hail's a problem right now, but that is certainly a possibility. Everything that we see tonight is going to have a gusty wind threat, perhaps some small hail, and then we're going to see these small instances where there's a lower end tornado threat. So let's go back to kind of the big picture here and show you what we're talking about. So meteorologist Evan Chikvera with Riley Blackwell, we're just watching this event unfolding, and for the most part, what we've seen it's come into Marion, to Winston County. There's been a lot of lightning, very heavy rain. There's been some reports of trees down here and there, power lines down up near Hamilton, but these have all, for the most part, been sub-severe thanks to these being outflow dominated. So over the next several hours here, as we get through the overnight, if you're sitting at home and you're very concerned about the weather, and fielding a lot of questions about it, it's totally understandable, especially coming through during the overnight hours. So we'll pop on as need be. Right now we're just on social media. We'll hop onto the TV side if we need to here as we move forward. I want to note there's another tornado warning. That is up for parts of Marshall County, I believe. That is north of Albertville. This actually covers part of Lake Gunnersville as well. And this for a different line of thunderstorms that's currently moving right towards the Grant area. And this one's kind of messy on radar, but right in here would likely be that circulation. And again, this is going to head towards Poplar Springs, eventually Grove Oak, and a few areas a little bit further to the east. This could put it in Cherokee County a little bit down the line. But again, that's just north of the DMA. I just wanted to touch on that. Everywhere else, for the time being, still kind of waiting the arrival of this line. It seems like it's been tantalizingly close, but it is moving very much in a southwest to northeast orientation, and will continue to do so here as we move forward. So we'll hop back into that cell, and again, if you're joining us here, there's a lot of rain, a lot of thunder in Winston County, as well as Fayette County. There's nothing of severity right now. Okay, there we go.
Pickens.
There's a tornado warning. So we'll go ahead and take this on TV too. Kelly, if you can hear us back there, we'll pop on TV. All righty, stand by for TV.
And that's got a pretty good velocity signature. We're not too far away from the radar, so this is probably shooting in the lower to mid levels, but we can definitely say something is spinning
Yeah.
in southern Lowndes County, Mississippi.
All right, so if you're just now tuning in, we're cutting into live TV now, or what is happening at 1:30 this morning. Meteorologist Evan Chikvera with meteorologist Riley Blackwell. This tornado warning is for Pickens County. You see this polygon here. There's Highway 82. There's Ethelsville. And there is the circulation. This is coming out of Mississippi and into Alabama. The circulation is currently on the other side of the state line in Mississippi, but is going to be pushing into Pickens County. If you're in Ethelsville, if you're in Delma, if you're in Pine Grove, if you're in Liberty, get to your safe place as this is approaching. We haven't seen any concrete evidence yet that there is a tornado on the ground with this, but it's a pretty decent circulation that we have seen here moving out. Again, kind of too cluttered to make any conclusions there, but this is probably the best signature we've seen. So as we go through the next several hours, the primary threat here is going to be gusty winds. Straight line wind. It was breezy all day today. But the current warning, tornado warning in effect here for, this is the northwestern corner of Pickens County. So who's not in this? Coalfire, Reform, south towards Carrollton, Aliceville. You see where this is focused, a very small section of Pickens County. That's a good way to frame it up, Riley, because Reform, Gordo was recently hit, obviously, in that last event we had on the 15th. You are not in this polygon, neither is Aliceville or Pickensville. You're just to the south of where this is initiated. But again, Highway 82 in the extreme northwestern corner of Pickens County. For this cell right here, I believe this is moving off to the northeast at about 35 miles an hour. Again, the motion of these is not particularly fast, but nevertheless, you want to find your safe place. And again, if your weather radio is going off here, it very well will at times here tonight, but we're going to be here. We'll get through it together. As it stands now, this circulation is about to cross over the state line. We'll zoom in on that again. So for Pickens County, there it is as a whole, and this is for extreme northwestern Pickens County, and this will include the town of Ethelsville. So find your safe place if you can. Delma, Macedonia as well. This is just about 2, 3, 4 miles away from there, and there you have pretty good gate-to-gate shear. So what this product shows us is winds going in one direction as well as another direction right next to each other. So here within the next about 10 minutes is right on top of Ethelsville, eventually to Liberty. Here's your Highway 82 stretch. And where you got this gate-to-gate shear, which is starting to show pretty consistently, that's a good idea that we have at least some rotation within the atmosphere, and this is pretty close to the radar site. So often we talk about, sometimes that radar beam will hit wind rotations higher within the storm. This is a pretty good view of it here, and we're likely looking at this cell moving very close to Macedonia. Let's see what other roads are in here, Riley. I know this is 82. This looks like County Road 30, perhaps. So areas in and around here, if you know folks in northwestern Pickens County, it's the one negative thing really about these late night events is people go to sleep. So folks with weather radios, you'll likely hear this go off. If you know anyone in this area, be sure to give them a heads up. I don't expect long track tornadoes tonight, but these events here where you have an MCS or a broken line can be very, very tricky. And right now the biggest threat is going to be this cell. It is just about to move across the state line. Riley, are you seeing anything in chat about this?
A little bit of side lobe contamination, but it looks good at face value on the radar. It does,
but I can see where they see that side lobe contamination. Every now and then you'll get these returns that look much more promising than they actually are because this has a warning on it and because it looked pretty good back in Mississippi. We're going to take it seriously. Take this as something that's a possible tornado on the ground. This started as a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. The National Weather Service in Birmingham upgraded that to a tornado warning. And how long does this go? Does this go till about 2 a.m.?
2:15, and it's moving northeast at 55.
55. Okay, so this one has sped up, so I stand corrected here. Some of this line is moving very slowly. This particular cell is kind of out ahead of it, Riley. Let's zoom out and just give a look at the big picture here to show where this could be headed. Eventually, this would be in southwestern Fayette County if this holds together. This storm is the one to watch, mainly because this is out open. Notice, this isn't part of the line. You got free inflow here. It's kind of able to rotate on its own without being obstructed or interfered with any other cell. So this will certainly be one to watch. If you're up in Fayette right now, you're hearing thunder, you got heavy rain. It's not associated with this storm yet, but downstream, this could be something here to watch in southwestern Fayette County. Millport, you're not in the warning as of now, but if you're in northwestern Pickens, certainly get to your safe place. Very familiar with this stretch. You ever go over to Mississippi State, you pass through Gordo, you pass through Reform, and then it gets to a 4-lane highway all the way over to the state line, and it's areas like Liberty, Ethelsville, Stafford, Delma that all need to be prepared. So there it is again. I think based off of the reflectivity there, Riley, where you're seeing that hook, a pretty decent bet that there's at least something trying to get going there. Again, there's been no mention of any debris signature, which is good. The atmosphere's wind profile is not really great for tornadoes tonight, so this one trying to get together. If the environment was a little bit better, we might see more of that. But as of now, we have reason to believe that there's at least some gusty winds associated with this line. And gusty winds can do just as much damage and can be just as scary here for the time being. So there is the circulation. Macedonia, please get to your safe place now. Ethelsville as well, you'll be next up. Here's Highway 82 in Liberty. As Riley mentioned, this is moving at about 55 miles an hour. This has been one of the faster cells. Part of that because it's ahead of the main line. It's kind of on its own, nothing to really slow it down or really disrupt the circulation. So this is for extreme northwestern Pickens County. This warning will go till 2:15, and it is just now getting into Pickens County. The Weather Service in Birmingham is really good about giving good lead time with these storms, and that's always very beneficial with respect to giving people time to get to the location that they need to get to. So again, if you're in northwestern Pickens County, find your safe place, get there. Because this is moving quickly, it'll be on you quickly, but it'll be out of here very quickly as well. So we'll go back to a slightly bigger view here and just give, for those of you who are tuning in, watching, and wondering what the heck we're doing, we're covering one tornado warn cell at the moment. We've got a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings in the northeastern corner of the state, just to the north of Etowah and Blount counties, including Albertville. This line here, if you're in Winston County, if you're in Walker County, if you're in Fayette County, you got a good batch of storms moving through. It's loud, there's a lot of lightning, but at this time, we don't have any severe thunderstorm warning. They just issued one. So the Huntsville market issues for Coleman County. They have gone ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning here, and I'm assuming that's going to be for gusty winds as well. But we're going to keep focusing on this tornado warning again for folks in Fayette who are hearing these loud storms. Yes, it's loud. It could be scary. This, though, is starting to look a little bit better. I don't know what you think here, but that's showing pretty consistent at least rotation within this, and this is headed towards Ethelsville. So if you're in Ethelsville there in Pickens County, we're not trying to alarm you, but we do want you to get to a place away from windows. A basement is preferred. If you can get to it here at this point in time, this will be coming right across County Road, I believe that's 30, just to the south of Ethelsville. And eventually, if you live along Highway 82 here, there's lots of little homes that are actually right off 82, smaller neighborhoods there as well. Be advised it is headed your way. Macedonia need to be in your safe place right now as well. So anywhere within this polygon, we want you to go ahead and take action with this because as of now, we've not confirmed anything as far as if this is on the ground, if this is producing a tornado. See these bright greens though? There's at least some gusty winds. So even if that wind profile within the cell is not creating a tornado, there's still some good wind energy with it, and it can do some damage as well. So we'll watch this, again, moving off to the northeast at about 55 miles an hour. We'll zoom out just a little bit, and if you can do some time of arrivals here, let's go right up to the Lamar County line here, Riley, and see about what time this is going to get to the north of places like Shaw and Liberty. Again, the time now is 1:39. Meteorologist Evan Chigvera on here with Riley Blackwell, and we're watching for this tornado warned storm. That particular scan looks a little bit better in terms of not showing as tight a rotation, which is good. This is going to be getting to, say, the Lamar County line, about 10 minutes from now. So again, moving pretty quickly. And this is just an estimated time of arrival. This is, right upon several locations here in the extreme northwestern corner of Pickens County. So to get yourself familiar, here's Reform. There's Coalfire. This is your Highway 82. There's Highway 17 that runs from Reform up to the Lamar County line. Carrollton, you're not in this. Aliceville, Pickensville, you're in the clear. If we're not talking about your location right now, it's probably because we're not in an imminent threat or a warning right now. So if you have questions regarding, hey, it's really loud, if you're in Fayette County, totally get it. If you are in Winston County, got a lot of thunderstorms there, but right now it's just that, those are thunderstorms. So this is the one in question, and we're watching it to that particular run there, that recent radar scan does not look nearly as impressive. We'll zoom back on into this one. And for northwestern, Pickens County. So yeah, that's much more broad. This is likely now more or less straight line winds, which again, we're still talking about a storm that has the potential to do some damage with wind gusts. Is this still the Columbus radar here, Riley?
Yeah, pulling out of Columbus, and I'm looking at the Algo traffic map, or camera. There's one in Reform. It's producing a lot of lightning. Wind doesn't really seem to be whipping by any means. Remember, this is in Reform. This is still several miles away. So in terms of like an inflow or anything like that, we wouldn't be able to tell. But it is producing a lot of lightning. And the thing about Pickens County, especially northwestern Pickens County, very woodsy, lot of trees. So we would definitely know, I think, if something was on the ground or being thrown in the air. Like you see that drop in correlation coefficient, it kind of lines up with the circulation, but I think that's just some sort of contamination because you also see this stuff south of Liberty along Highway 82 from Coal Fire to Liberty. We know we can differentiate that from flying debris. And this little bit of a drop between Macedonia and Ethelsville and Delma, it looks suspicious, but right now I don't think there's any reason to believe that we have debris being lofted in the air. It seems like it was quite a quick spinner in terms of a.
Let's go back to the big picture, Riley. A lot of people who are just now tuning in, wondering, what we're talking about here. Okay, so a lot of people asking questions here. Find your spot on the map. What we've got, Birmingham area, you're clear right now. Jasper, you're clear for the moment. This will likely be, this line right here, which is subsevere. So if you're in Fayette, if you are in Winfield, if you are in Brilliant, if you're just northwest of Jasper, if you're near Smith Lake, all of these areas, it's very heavy rain. It's a lot of lightning, but this is subsevere. It's loud, it's scary, but we don't have a warning there. Cullman County, whole county there's under a warning. That has been issued by Huntsville. Again, that is going to be for gusty winds up to about 60 miles an hour. But look at the rest of the DMA. If you're in Gadsden, Jacksonville, Anniston, Talladega, Pell City, Arab, Sylacauga, Clanton, right now we're in the clear. The reason we popped on here was for that cell in extreme northwestern Pickens County. So if you're joining us and you're asking lots of questions, I'm seeing the particular messages here. If you're in Aliceville, yes, the alarms are going off because they're based off of county. So the sirens initially would go off by county. Then we got these polygon systems. So if you are in Aliceville, you're in the clear. The only part of Pickens County that is under any sort of warning is right here, and it includes Ethelsville. So get to where you need to be safe, away from windows, away from anything very close to the outside. This certainly is not looking nearly as impressive. In fact, Riley, this looks like it's really fizzling out. So if you're hearing the alarms going off within Pickens County, we are likely to see, we're likely to get reports of that. If you're not in this little corner here, so this would, Reform, you're not in the polygon. Carrollton, not in the polygon. Aliceville, Pickensville, not in the polygon. Ethelsville, right on top of you here. This is coming up towards Liberty and then eventually to Shaw. So again, we haven't seen anything that would confirm that this is a tornado, but it's suspicious enough. And we may see that at times as we get through the overnight hours here moving forward, where some of these just occasionally spin up. And again, we'll be here for you on that particular note, and we'll try to cover everything that we absolutely can. But this is where you're seeing, winds away from the radar in red, towards the radar in green. So where those touch, and you think about it, it makes sense. Wind's going in one direction, right next to it, in the other direction. So that's what shows us the rotation in the atmosphere with this one. I'm not sure what radar sites.
This is Birmingham.
Okay, yeah, that one won't show good.
Because Columbus, it just looks like it's spinning itself out just about. But
yeah, let's say on the.
I saw that message was Aliceville tornado sirens are going off, and this is a long ways away from Aliceville.
Yeah, if you want to zoom out just a little bit, Riley's very familiar with Pickens County.
Love Pickens County.
So it's a huge county, obviously. This is an extreme northwestern corner. So you look right here. As far as real estate is concerned with Pickens County, this is a very small sliver, a corner here, and this is about to cross over Highway 82. Still our best looking circulation anywhere in the state, which is why we're talking about it. Again, I'll try to say this as often as I can. If we're not talking about your location, it's probably a good bet that right now we're okay. Right now, my really one concern is this storm right in here that's about to cross over Highway 82. Reform, Gordo, Carrollton, Pickensville, Aliceville in the clear. The sirens that you'll hear go off, you remember years ago they would issue a warning for the entire county. Well, now they've come a long way. They issue these polygons, but it'll still trigger that siren to go off for the county. So. Right, let's zoom on into this. It's certainly looking a little bit better here. Those winds have certainly picked up, and this might be one of the better scans that we've seen. So Ethelsville, right on top of you here. If you're in Macedonia, Pine Grove, you're now behind this circulation. Liberty, Shaw. If you are just to the north and east by a couple miles of Ethelsville, this is about to cross right over Highway 82. Probably within the next minute or so, and we are likely looking at this speeding up as it gets closer to, this is the Lamar County line right here. There's Millport, and there's our circulation right there, okay? So if you're just now tuning in, that is our feature of note. We are looking at a potentially tornadic cell that is moving across Highway 82 as we speak. This started rotating back in Mississippi, and we've been following it ever since. Been watching a lot of these cells as they move in a general northeasterly direction. So right now on top of Ethelsville, let's draw a line here up to about Shaw, Riley. See how about how far that is. Looks like they're
going to do a special weather statement.
Okay.
Or for Fayette, Lamar, because we have people in Ewan asking, what about Ewan? But Walker, Winston, Fayette, special weather statements, they're a step below severe thunderstorm warning, so you're probably still going to have a loud thunderstorm with some gusty winds, maybe some small hail, but it's a step below a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yes. So and I understand why folks up there are concerned. So we'll leave this for just a moment here. This is right over Ethelsville, about to cross Highway 82. So if you live to the north of Highway 82 in extreme northwestern Pickens County near Liberty or Shaw, get to your safe space. This is a tornado-warned storm. Riley, let's go back to reflectivity and just move north to where they're going to do that special weather statement because...
And real quick, too, there's somebody in Palmetto. That's extreme northern Pickens County. That's right here off 17. That's honestly just about too close to call right now. If it were me, I would say go to your safe place if you're in Palmetto.
Can't hurt. Great question. And we'll try our best to get to... Riley will monitor the chat, and we'll do the best we can to get. We're trying to talk to you. That's our job is to communicate with you, and we'll do the best we can here moving forward. So let's go off to the north here because you got several people who are in Walker County, in Fayette County, who are watching and might be saying, "What on earth? You guys aren't talking about me." Thunder, lightning, very scary. It's very abrupt in the middle of the night. Here is that area that they may do that special weather statement. Addison, Double Springs, Lynn, Carbon Hill, 22. You got Fayette, now near Highway 43. This is very heavy rain. I don't see any indication of hail, but wind gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour are possible when we talk about a special weather statement. It's a little bit more than a thunderstorm, but a little bit less than one that is of severity. So Carbon Hill, it's loud. Get that. And that's for a lot of places in Winston. This will be coming into Jasper, into Parrish, eventually Berry as well. So for folks in those areas, again, not severe, still scary, totally understand that. We got a little while to go before this moves on through, but this should be one round once you get past this lead edge. So honestly, if you're back in Ewan and Hamilton, back towards the Mississippi state line, you're probably out of any sort of severe threat with this. The threat's going to be along the lead edge. So let's go back down and see what the latest scans are showing for this one. And again, if you're just now joining us, meteorologist Evan Chikveris here with meteorologist Riley Blackwell. We're covering this particular storm that is moving through. This is northwestern Pickens County to get your bearings here. So there's Palmetto. You're technically outside the polygon. Pretty much all of Highway 17 in Pickens County is outside the polygon. If this were to be carried into Lamar County, that would include Highway 17 as it comes up and intersects with Highway 96 here. That's in extreme southern Lamar County. Is this the Columbus radar still?
Yeah, still pulling from Columbus. Also, I'm going to loop it the past 30 minutes because that can also give us an idea of a general direction this might take. So you can see it is coming in. So, yeah, Shaw, maybe Kennedy if it holds together. Palmetto, you might scoop by, but still, right now it's just too close to call. It's hard to say with these line-driven tornado warnings.
Yeah, and at night like this, we don't have any real eyeballs on it. So this latest scan, there's nothing there, I would say, from a tornado standpoint, but there's really strong winds as well. And strong winds have been a part of storms before that'll just level all those pine trees. And those can come through windows, roofs as well. So we just ask you to get to your safe place. That's all we want. And look how quickly this ended. Ethelsville, you're in the clear. Delma in the clear. Macedonia in the clear. This is just about to say 82 is in the clear as well, because this is now, it looks like past 82. But just hold tight, Liberty. You're still kind of right in the thick of things, but this is certainly a much broader rotation. You still have winds going in different directions aloft, but it's not tight. You want to see, well, you don't want to see, but from a meteorological standpoint, if you're going to see a storm that's got tornadic capabilities, really tight pixels of green and red, and we're not seeing that like we once were. So again, Shaw would be next up. For folks in Lamar County, that's just outside of our DMA. just have a heads up here. This is a pretty decent cell that's moving through, and it's really the one of note that we've been watching. This would eventually come up to Highway 96 here from Millport over to Kennedy. And then this is this is Fayette County next to Lamar County. This would be the southwestern corner from Ashcroft Corner Ashcraft Corner north here towards the Beaver Church Belk area. That would be another area to watch downstream with this. So this rotation looks a lot less intense. So let's zoom back out for people just joining us and might be asking, Riley, do you want to talk about who's currently in the clear versus who's in the warning?
Honestly, if you're in Pine Grove, Delma, Ethelsville, Macedonia, you're fine. The rotation has moved away, probably still raining, but the rotation that we're concerned with has moved away. But if you're in basically any other part of Pickens County, Carrollton, Benevola, Olney, Aliceville, Bridgeville, McMullen, Pickensville, if you're out fishing right now on Lake Aliceville, you're fine. Might not be the smartest idea, but you're fine. It's really just from Liberty to Shaw up to Millport, Kennedy. You're not technically in the warning right now, but I would say in the course of least regret, it might be a good idea to get ready to start taking shelter because we don't quite know yet if we're going to get a continuation of this warning. Haven't seen anything. Very intense lightning. Velocity continues to be very messy, and the side lobing doesn't match up with the reflectivity. Yeah, it kind of just looks bad right now.
Yeah, it certainly looks bad. Okay, so basically, if we want to go back to reflectivity, and don't draw a line for people who know they don't have to watch us anymore, because as much as I'm sure you love hanging out with us, you probably want to go to bed. It's 1:53. So if we zoom back off to the north here, there are several counties in northwest Alabama that are not clear of thunderstorms, but are clear of severe thunderstorms, in my opinion here. I would say all of Marion County, you are looking at stratiform rain. Still some thunderstorms. I think you're good there. I think Lamar County, the northern half of the county, is probably in the clear. We'll have to wait and see what this cell does as it moves towards Fayette. Folks in Winfield, you're pretty much in the clear. You're about to be on the other side of this particular line that's a little bit more robust. Again, it's going to be noisy here, but there's not a severe thunderstorm warning if you're in Carbon Hill. I'm sure if you live there right now, it's loud and it's scary. And I get it, you probably won't go to sleep until this moves on, but you're not far from being behind that line. Guin, you're okay. Brilliant, you're okay. Haleyville, you are looking at a thunderstorm. When I say okay, I'm not trying to downplay at all a thunderstorm, because everybody's interpretation of what is or isn't okay is different. And someone who's scared of thunderstorms, even going into being an adult, I get it. It's loud. It's not what you want on a Saturday night. You got to get up early tomorrow, perhaps for church or for whatever else you might be doing. You don't want to be hanging out with us, so understand that. But if you're in Fayette, we got a pretty loud thunderstorm there. You notice the lightning strikes, 326 over the last 10 minutes. And what lightning will often be an indicator of, if we see more lightning strikes over a period, it'll be intensifying. Lesser lightning strikes, it'll be weakening. Have seen no reports of any hail. If you're in Cullman County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's check on this. Yep.
We're about to get a flash flood warning for Lamar, Marion, Winston, and Northern Fayette. And that's another big thing we've been talking about internally, is the potential for flooding as these. Because even when these loud storms push through, like the one going through Carbon Hill, Smith Lake, eventually going to be Arley, Smith Lake Dam, I mean, that's just the leading edge. You still have a whole swath of rain behind it. So that's another big issue aside from the wind, aside from the tornado warnings we could see. It's going to be the potential for flooding as well.
Yeah, and let's do a really quick, we'll jump back in here, check it out. Looks pretty benign. Again, it's very disorganized. Is there mischief there? A little bit, and we'll see that from time to time throughout the evening with these odd circulations here, but there's just nothing concrete there. There's not been any debris signature of note. And for folks who are asking about Tuscaloosa, I know we got a lot of folks who watch us in Tuscaloosa. We could back this out a little bit wider and show you what's weird about this. If you live in Tuscaloosa, you're like, hey, Pickens County's not that far away, but the motion at which these are moving is southwest to northeast. So this cell is actually moving towards Fayette. Tuscaloosa, you might go a little ways before we actually get to the line here. There's a couple, pockets of rain out ahead of this near Gordo. This is not severe by any means, just rain. For the Birmingham area, you're still a ways off from having any sort of impact. It looks like, let's see, the National Weather Service is saying very messy. Yeah, so again, not seeing anything concrete with this. Of course, we'll have to watch what's back in Mississippi as well, because this is what will be coming towards the state line, towards Sumter and Pickens County. Let's go up, Riley, to that one in Cullman and just see what that one might be for, because again, this one does not look very impressive, honestly. But folks in Cullman who might be watching and asking, this is just to the north of Good Hope, right over Cullman. This is Highway 278 that runs right here through Cullman and back into Winston County towards Addison. And
This pulled from Hot Top, by the way.
Okay, so yeah, this is one of those spots where you kind of hit it from 2 or 3 different sites. And good news here, they're going to issue say good news, all relative. They're not going to continue that tornado warning into Lamar and into Fayette. They're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's because there's been really no sign of anything tornadic for the last few radar scans. And that's certainly been a trend that we've noted here as well watching this. So again, if you're in Cullman County, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. This is not a particularly strong storm, but the folks up in Huntsville have issued this warning. So again, if you are there and your weather radio is going off, the biggest threats here are going to be winds, probably 40, 45 miles an hour. And I've seen no reports of hail, and there's been no reflectivity values that would lead me to believe that there's even some small hail at this point. This is really more of a wind maker for us. Let's go to the DMA view, Riley. We'll do this, then we'll go to the current watches in place and just kind of do a bit of a brief summary here. I'll let you take that over, let folks know who's in, who's out, and what we're watching the next couple hours.
So right now, the only warning of concern is this tornado warning in extreme northwestern Pickens County. Probably raining in Aliceville, probably raining along 14. I believe it's Aliceville Middle School, Aliceville Country Club. It's technically around the McMullen area. Might be raining on the CVS and the Jacks in Aliceville right now. By the way, I love that Jacks. They always treat me nice there. That's just rain. Nothing much to it. Raining parts of Kirk, Olney, Hickory, Carrollton, but still the one area of concern remains northwestern Pickens County. It's got that little bit of a hook to it just east of Liberty on County Road 34. But if you go to velocity, it might be trying to tighten back up, but it's still not looking the most impressive. That'll go for 215. But aside from that, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the southeastern portions of Lamar County, southwestern portions of Fayette County, and it does include the city of Fayette. But just know, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, but still Millport, Kennedy, Belk, Fayette, Stowe, Bankston. Technically, Berry is in this, but we'll just have to see how far it makes it. So far, Tuscaloosa, you're fine. Yeah, that rotation, Evan, that just looks...
It's messy. Folks asking about Nauvoo. It's very. It's probably really loud there. I'm looking at the returns here, and you got some very heavy rain in the Nauvoo area, as well as you head over to Carbon Hill, and you're at the lead edge of just a cluster of thunderstorms. We can zoom out and go to reflectivity, Riley. This is a look at the rest of that line. So you're in that severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Fayette. This is for extreme southeastern Lamar County, including Millport. And this little sliver of it is from that tornado warning. But again, the trend has been really messy circulation with it. Doesn't mean it can't still be impactful. You can still have strong wind gusts, up to 58 miles an hour with it. But, if you're in Fayette, if you're over towards Berry, really the southern half of Fayette County, you are now included in that severe thunderstorm warning polygon. Carbon Hill's up here, Nauvoo's right around here, and eventually we're going to be saying the all clear. So again, if you're in Ewan, if you're in Sulligent, Vernon, if you're in Hamilton, Haleyville, Brilliant, Winfield, I would say you're in the clear. It still might be storming out, so not everyone's definition of in the clear is the same. I would say you're in the clear of the most turbulent weather, which right now exists in really one part of the map here in Alabama, and that is northern Pickens County, southern Lamar County, and extreme, soon to be extreme, southwestern Fayette County. So, we're here just to bring you updates. We are doing our best to get to everybody that we can. And, we'll try to hit everywhere that we possibly can. If you're in the Birmingham area, if you're in Tuscaloosa, this is ways off from any of this. And this might fizzle down before it gets there. It may amplify. That's what we're here to watch, and we'll continue to do so. There's been no evidence of a tornado here. Let's go into Pickens County and talk about who can be omitted from this, and then we'll talk about the Kimberly, Warrior area and other parts of Cullman County. So this is just a mess. But if you are in anywhere along Highway 82 in Pickens County, you're good to go.
Oh,
You're
look
clear.
at that. That thing is almost completely dissipated.
Yeah, that's great news. Okay, so heading into Lamar County right now, this is really falling apart from a structure standpoint, which is great to see. It's still going to be a loud storm, of course. You got 279 lightning strikes in this cluster, so we're not trying to talk down this at all from that standpoint. I mean, thunder and lightning, very scary. They're just not a severe weather parameter. Gusty winds, 58 plus, 1-inch diameter hail, or tornado. Those are parameters for severe thunderstorm warning. So if you are in Liberty, Ethelsville, Stafford, really most of northwestern Pickens County, you're good to come out of your safe place. We'll give this just a little bit longer here if you're in Shaw, and this will eventually be coming into southern Lamar County. That includes Kennedy as well. This is Highway 17 as it heads off to the north, and then eventually over towards Belk, and this is southwestern Fayette County. So a lot of folks going to be hearing that there is lightning, you're going to be hearing the thunder, and that's scary. It really is. That can be a jarring thing at 2 o'clock in the morning, which, by the way, it's 2:02. I'm meteorologist Evan Chigvera. Riley Blackwell's in the Weather Center here, and we're doing our best to update everybody here. Let's go over to the Cullman County severe thunderstorm warning for folks who are watching us there. For currently, this is northern, and I got to say, this is not very impressive on radar. I don't know why they issued this one. I'll look and see if there's any updates on this, but I'm not overly concerned with severe threats with this particular set of storms. You look back here, and honestly, what's happening in Winston County looks a little bit more intense from that standpoint. But notice the lightning strikes here, 18 in the last 10 minutes. Where we just were, 235. So this is not the stronger part of the line. But if if you live down closer to Hanceville, your Blunt Springs, Dodge City, areas south of Highway 278, right now you're not seeing the rain. You will see the storms that are currently coming over Smith Lake, Arley, Addison, and Houston. These will all be headed in that general direction over the next about 30 to 45 minutes. And again, there's a bit of a motion here that is southwest to northeast, which is going to cause a very odd timing arrival for storms as we go through the overnight. Riley?
Looks like we have some hail falling in Millport. Somebody put in Facebook they had some heavy rain in Kennedy, but there is a correlation drop that is hail. And we're going to check that out. Yeah, right. County Road 3, there looks like there's a little bit of a drop. That would be hail, not a tornado. Let's see if we can pick it up on our dual polarization hail. And there might be a little bit, and this is pulling from Columbus, Birmingham. So yeah, I would say over Millport or east of Millport, probably got some hail dropping right now.
And look at the lightning strikes in this tiny frame on radar. 165, zoom it in. That's a very small area, 143 strikes. This is by far and away, I think, the strongest thunderstorm that we have in Alabama right now. So here's some of the roads there. This is Millport. Here's County Road 12. This is actually about to be to the east of County Road 12, moving over towards, if you know where Riverside Church is, where Kennedy is. Moving off to the northeast. Again, this was moving at a pretty good clip earlier at about 45, 55 miles an hour. And this will be approaching the Fayette County line. Again, with this one, some hail. It looks like we are probably having some gusty winds with this as well. This is a look at the velocity structure. And again, we know that that's not a debris signature because it's displaced from where the circulation itself is. But here is southern Lamar County. And quite honestly, the wind values with this have come down. I'm assuming this is still Columbus radar site. Okay, so this is our best view of it, pretty close to it. And the winds just aren't very impressive, and it's much more disorganized than it was. But if you're in southwestern Fayette County, it's about to get loud. There's a lot of lightning with this, and lightning poses its own threats. As we know, it can lead to power outages. It can be very scary. Probably going to wake up you, husband, wife, kids, whomever, as it moves on through here. But we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Fayette County. It includes Fayette. It includes Gumbud. It was initially a tornado warning back in Pickens County. That has since not shown any sign of anything tornadic, so I can say confidently there's no tornado here. And folks back in Ethelsville, sure, it might still be raining, but it looks like at least that tornado threat has come to an end there in Pickens County. So we'll go back to the big view. We'll see what else is happening here. They've expired that tornado warning, which is good. It is now moving into Lamar County. So we'll continue to follow this, but that tornado warning has been canceled. So Pickens County, you're in the clear. looking at the big picture here, if you're in Birmingham, got nothing going on right now. It's going to be a couple hours away. There are some folks on this map. I'm looking at Sylacauga, Talladega, potentially Anniston, Lineville, Ashland, Heflin that may not get any thunderstorms till closer to sunrise because of the motion this line has. So let's put this in a 1 hour loop, Riley, just to kind of show where all this is moving, because it could be tough to you look at this static radar and you're like, all right, where's it going? But notice there's a really good northeasterly component to it. So it's not just moving straight west to east. That would be a much quicker passage. Unfortunately, it'll be with us just a little bit longer than that. If you're in Walker County, Jasper, you're about to get some pretty good thunder, some lightning there, perhaps some winds, 20, 25, 30 miles an hour. It's breezy all day today. And that's probably what's coming upon folks over there. So they will not be issuing a new tornado warning, which is good. And again, we hope to see that trend continue. Notice this cell was kind of by itself. We can go back to just the static here, and we'll hop around to show, folks, who's in, who's out. But east of I-65, you got several hours. Again, I would stay, aware as we head into the evening. So there's your hail, if we got it right there, where you see those pink colors.
Yeah,
the radar, so that's going to be picking that up right there. But the radar beam, it's pointing, it's aiming into the clouds, into the thunderstorm, and it's sending back hydrometeors, and it's rating them based off of the density. And when you start to see stuff like this, you're talking about hail. I haven't seen any reports of the size just yet. Honestly, this could be up to 1 inch hail. I think that's a fair bet. But a lot of what we have here with this sort of setup is you'll get pea marble size hail, which again can still be damaging, especially if you've had those flowers or plants leaf out. So that is certainly something that is a negative impact to you and to perhaps your garden. But there is no tornado with this, which is great. The wind threat seems to have dropped a good bit, and that hail core might end up bottoming out here soon, especially since our wind profiles have faded. So if you're in southwestern Fayette County, we are looking at the storm moving through here that had that past tornado warning on it. But right now it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, and this looks like it's going to be primarily for hail at this point moving forward. And let's crawl on up to the north and check on our friends in the rest of Fayette County. We'll go on over to Walker County as well, because it is loud there. And we understand that there was a tornado there just a couple weeks ago near Sipsey. And so you guys have had your fair share of bad weather. This particular storm has no tornado on it, no real gusty winds that are of severe level on it, but it can still impact you. It still could be loud. And so if you are in central, in western Walker County, it's going to be loud for a little while. Heavy rain, this will be pushing through. We might even have some isolated flash flood warnings. There's a lot of rain associated with this as well. And that's going to be another kind of side product that sometimes we don't focus on a ton, but flooding can be a concern. So this is northern Walker County. So Jasper, heads up. You're not far away from the rain here. Again, I want to stress there's nothing severe along this line. So if you live here, in fact, if you live back in parts of Marion County, I think we're clear. Lamar County, I think we're probably clear. Winston County, this is coming right through. Double Springs, you're probably about to be in the clear of at least this lead edge. When I say clear, I'm talking about the severe threats. There may still be thunder, lightning at your house, and that is certainly a possibility for just about everyone here for at least a little while longer in northwest Alabama, but the severe threat has come to an end. There's still a severe thunderstorm warning for Cullman. I don't know really why. It does not look scary to me, and I'm just being honest, there's really nothing of note here. In fact, the severe thunderstorm warning was for this cluster of storms. This looks far more threatening, but it does not have a warning on it. There might be some small hail right here in extreme northern Walker County. So this is 5, there's 22. And, as we watch this continue to move off to the east, we'll monitor those trends here. But a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning. The further north we've crawled, though, Riley, I don't know if you've noticed, the lightning strikes to the north are far less or so, which tells me the intensity a little bit less or so as well. And it looks like, hopefully that trend does continue. But again, we came on here initially for a tornado warning. Riley, if you want to get them kind of caught up on what's happening, maybe any updates you're seeing on the chat.
Yeah, likely have hail falling in Kennedy or just to the west of Kennedy. We did have indications of hail falling east of Millport. So Liberty Church, County Road 12, Foster Road, Cody Road, just north of Kennedy, probably have some small hail falling. This blue you see, like Wilson Church, Cobb Road, County Road 2, you don't have to worry about that. That's just contamination with the radar. But Foster Road, County Road 12, Liberty Church, Mount Pleasant Church Road, and Pleasant Grove Church probably have some small hail falling. Now you see this tornado warning polygon still flashing, but that will be allowed to cancel. So nothing really with that. The wind profile's not looking incredibly impressive. We're going to move further off to the north. I've had folks ask about Carbon Hill. Carbon Hill, you probably have some loud thunderstorms going overhead. Loud thunder, lots of lightning, no warning on it. Earlier we had a special weather statement, which is a step below a severe thunderstorm warning, issued for a good chunk of northern Fayette, Marion, Winston counties. But you're down here, Cordova, Dora, Sayre, Bagley, you're fine for now. Pumpkin Center, Powhatan, you're all good. Now, this line will continue to track off to the east and eventually will be impacting the majority of southeastern Walker County, Jefferson County, Blount counties. But, I mean, really, if you're along and east of I-65, you're just fine. You're living life right now. That'll probably change over the next several hours as this line tracks off to the east. But still, right now, the only area of concern is really just to the west of Kennedy. From Kennedy to Millport, that's 96. And these areas of purple, higher reflectivity values, likely indicating that we might have some hail falling, maybe some larger hail up here just to the north and east of Riverside Church. That's Aldridge Road, County Road 20, just to the west of Belk, which is in Fayette County. But I think that's probably what they're warning for. The velocity just isn't there in terms of a wind threat. But the fact that we're seeing correlation coefficient drops not associated with velocity is a good indication that we have at least the chance for some hail. And this is looking at dual polarization radar. And yeah, right by Riverside Church, County Road 49, Vice Road, County Road 12. Probably have some small hail. Likely might hurt a little bit if you get bonked on the head with it, but nothing too significant. But, you know, hail needs to be 1 inch in size or greater, and you'll have a severe thunderstorm warning. And, you know, getting returns like this far away, we might have at least an inch or larger sized hail. What's the update with Coleman? Fort Payne, we got some viewers up.
Yeah, let's go up to the Fort Payne Mentone area here and switch over to High Top because there is a tornado warning there. So if you're asking about these areas, which a couple people have, we'll go to the reflectivity and then velocity. This has been one they've been watching in Huntsville. So this is the Huntsville market. They're issuing this. And not a great signature. I will say we have not been following this one as it was to the north, really, of our general area here over the last 30 minutes or so. But it does not look great. They could continue with this. Let's see. They removed it from Jackson County, but it continues for DeKalb. So that's going to include Alpine, Fisher Crossroads, Fort Payne, Douglas. This is I-59 right here. And eventually this will be pushing towards Mentone. So get to your safe place. I will say this is not a very threatening looking signature, but it's a polygon. You always take those seriously because you never know when they'll cycle up, but a tornado warning here. And this one will be allowed to go for, let's see, what they're going to keep this one until about 3 o'clock this morning. So it will not last that long for all these people. We'll try to update. This is just outside of the DMA, but folks who are picking us up, Fort Payne, Mentone, tornado warning in this area here. Let's go back to the big picture and we'll start tracking to the south and talk about who's, kind of who's in it, who's out, and what we expect here moving forward. So really the big story has been that one tornado warning. I think there it goes. It's about to expire. So we might take this as a time to, go on a quick break here, at least from TV within about, 2 minutes or so. So I don't know if Kelly in the back can hear me. We'll do this for another minute or two on TV. A little bit longer on Facebook Live, and then we may pause. But for the time being, what we've got here is some very heavy rain and some hail. So this is loud. If you have a tin roof, we've got this metal roof at my house, and boy, you'd think it was hailing all the time, but when it does hail, it's incredibly loud. So there's where the hail is most likely, and this is going to be coming out of this is Lamar County, this is Fayette County, and really the biggest threat here moving forward with this particular cell is going to be hail. I mean, look at You see lightning strikes, those are your hailstones. They're colliding in the upper levels of this thunderstorm, and they're giving off these charges. And for every charge it gives off, there's a negative charge at the base of the cloud, and the lightning just responds to that huge charge difference within there. So pretty good bet when you see a thunderstorm with this many lightning strikes, there's a hail core up there. Now, as for what is falling with it size-wise, do not have any reports of that just yet, but if you're in southwestern Fayette County, we're going to keep a close eye on that here moving forward. So let's check on the circulation if there's even anything left with this, because initially we came on because this was looking like it could potentially have a tornado. There was some circulation there in the atmosphere, and it's still very broad. It's weak though, and I think our biggest threat with this, honestly, is going to be hail and wind gusts. You got to think these storms sometimes 40,000 plus feet. So what's up there? That's a lot of rain. It's a lot of hail. Okay, so as that comes down, it brings everything with it. It's a lot of mass. So you get this gust of wind out ahead of it here, and that's likely what we're looking at. So if you're in Fayette and you're watching us here, again, you got some hail probably coming. Right now, there's not a tornado threat. And it looks like there's pretty good hail right along the Lamar County line. So this would be right here. If you're in Belk, 90, yes, look at this. So yeah, using reflectivity is probably our best bet to see where those hail cores are. So right over Kennedy, would not at all be surprised. I mean, it's just tremendous amount of lightning here. So it's loud, it's scary, I understand that. Right now, this biggest threat with this is going to be hail up to 1 inch in diameter and wind gusts as this comes to the ground. Again, as that falls, you get this gust front with it. Fayette, absolute deluge there, lots of lightning. And then we'll zoom back on out to get the big picture here, and we'll probably hop off of TV. We'll keep going on social media just to be safe. So if you're watching us on TV, we'll give you the all clear for at least now. We'll pop back on if there's another tornado warning. If you want to keep following us, we'll stay on social media for the time being while we've got these warnings in place. So again, if you are watching us here on Facebook or YouTube, wherever we're streaming as of now, got some loud storms coming through. It's 2:18, meteorologist Evan Chigvera, Riley Blackwell's over there in the Weather Center, and it's a noisy night. That's not fun. Trying to go to bed, get your weather radios going off, and for those folks over in Fayette County, boy, it's loud, and you probably got some hail. So just to give a heads up, if you are in south central Fayette County, this particular cell in place is the one that we've been watching. I know there's a severe thunderstorm warning in Coleman County. Right now, that storm appears to be fairly benign in nature. There's lightning, there's thunder, yes, but that's a weaker end of the line. If you're in Jasper, if you're in central Walker County, you've got thunderstorms coming through right now, and it's probably loud. Again, lots of lightning around, lots of flashes. We might have some brief power outages with lightning strikes, but there's nothing of any severity right now in Walker County. There's no imminent tornado threat, at least at the moment. And we will continue to monitor that. But if you're watching us and you're asking, what about tornadoes? We have none. Our biggest concern is going to be this, and hail that could be 1.5 inches in diameter. A pretty large hail that could be coming through here if you live in extreme southwestern Fayette. So we'll zoom back on in there and see what the reflectivity
it looks like we might have had an uptick in lightning with that too.
I'm seeing 500 some. I mean, look at this. Unreal.
There's more lightning in this little section of southeastern Lamar County than there is in that whole storm in Coleman County.
Man. So we could be looking at ping pong sized hail with this. Obviously some incredible, I mean, this is almost likely nonstop lightning here with what we're seeing in and around. In fact, I don't know, Riley, we might be able to take, well, we'll have to wait and see once this gets a little bit closer to another one of our Skycams, so we can pull up our Skycam on that computer and get a view into this. But this is likely nonstop lightning if you're near Belk, if you're near Oak Ridge Baptist Church, if you're closer to Fayette, just to the south there. We're looking at a thunderstorm that is very loud, probably has some very good, oh boy, look at that hail return. So that's going to be your biggest hail right there. So this just came over Kennedy. This is your concentration of a good hail core, and that could be very, very large hail. That is something, you talk about severe weather. People, they worry about the winds. You worry about tornadoes, you forget about hail. We don't have it too often, but this is going to be some damaging hail right in here. That is a return that shows absolutely hail to at least ping pong sized, at least at this time. So this is going to be loud. This is really not good for anything you may have planted, vegetation. This will just shred leaves. But right here, this is just northwest of Kennedy, and this part of the thunderstorm, big hail core, is going to carry into Fayette County. So got a good ways to go. It's going to be a loud night. Again, what we're looking for here is any indication that any of these storms will ramp up to that significant, to be a significant threat. And right now, the hail is the biggest threat. So if you're watching us anywhere else and you're wondering, hey, what's it look like in my area? We'll try to get a reset of the big picture here. If we can, Riley, we'll go back out to the big view to just try to show folks who might be watching what their location is looking like. So as of now, we got a severe thunderstorm warning at Cullman. That part of the line actually doesn't look very intense. So of these lightning strikes you're seeing here, 579 in the last 10 minutes, about 400 of them are taking place in that Fayette-Lamar County area. That is the strongest thunderstorm by far. If you're at Birmingham, we're still a good ways out from having any rain or storms. Alabaster, Calera, Tuscaloosa, you're in the clear at the moment. And the reason for it, look at the motion of this line. This is going to hit Jasper. This is going to hit areas north of Birmingham before it hits the Birmingham metro, and this will continue off to the east. What we're going to have to watch here for Aliceville down to Demopolis and Tuscaloosa is what's coming out of Mississippi as of right now. So Kennedy, you're still right in the thick of things, and we may not be out of it from a tornado standpoint if these cells over in Mississippi do indeed hold together, getting closer to the state line. So as we look a little bit closer here to the Fayette area, and again, for folks who are chiming in here, we're doing our best to hit everywhere. All right, we got a lot of folks to cover, and we're trying to keep up with all those here as we move forward. The most immediate concern as of now is going to be this cell that's over now in Fayette County. So you've got this here, and Rob, let's switch on the velocity as of right now, because this was, so it's no concern with a tornado here. Right now, if you're watching us anywhere here in central Alabama, there's not a tornado threat with any of this. We have a tornado warning that is up in extreme northeastern Alabama. In fact, I think that one was able to be canceled for Fort Payne. So right now, join us. There's not a tornado threat. My biggest concern, sure Riley's biggest concern, is the hail that's coming in Fayette County. So hail, perhaps some gusty winds. If you're up in Cullman, we got a severe thunderstorm warning, but right now that's not exhibiting any severe threats. If you're in Jasper, yes, it's loud. In Walker County, it's loud. We are watching the map all across the board, and as of right now, there are no tornado warnings in place. So again, doing our best to keep up with everybody out there. And I know we're the last two people you want to see tonight on your Saturday night heading into Sunday morning. We wish we didn't have to be here either, but that's what we got to do in these events. No tornado threat at the moment. Hail is the big problem at the moment. And for those of you who have a fear of thunder and lightning, totally, absolutely get that. It's loud, it's abrupt, and there is a ton of it here in Fayette and Lamar County. It's going to keep you up for a little while here. So this is headed, so here's Fayette. The hail core looks like it may have bottomed out just a little bit here, right on the the Lamar Fayette County line. Walker County's back off here to the north and east, but this is headed towards the Gumbud area. And eventually this will be pressing just to the south of downtown Fayette itself. So this will be something that, again, we have to watch. And along with this, you'll get strong wind gusts. I mentioned before, you've got this towering thunderstorm, and as the hail and everything else comes out of it, there's a lot of mass that's moved. So it'll occasionally have a gust front with it as well, so we'll look for that here. Riley, you seen any reports? You want to give some updates on who is in the clear, especially in northwest Alabama versus not?
Northwest Alabama, I'm not sure if the special weather statement's still in place, but maybe heavy rain for Ewan, Hamilton, Winfield, Brilliant, but no active warnings, and probably one of our more tornado warning prone counties recently up in Marion County. This is just a good old-fashioned rain. You're talking about the tin roof earlier. Rain on a tin roof, man, that puts you right to sleep. But severe thunderstorm warning for Coleman County. Not really much happening there. Maybe for wind. Pull it for high top to see if we could see anything. No drop in correlation, so no real evidence of any hail. Severe thunderstorm warnings from Marshall, Lake Gunnersville, Chickamauga up in Georgia is a severe thunderstorm warning, but really just straight winds have straightened out. So that's very good news. Nothing really to worry about in terms of tornado-wise. But still, the main concern right now is Fayette and only Fayette, mainly due to the threat of hail. So high reflectivity values is areas of Purple, Belk, Cedar Hill, Mount Joy, Church, Fayette. More than likely have some hail falling on top of you right now. And looks like we might have a little bit deeper of a drop. That is near Mulberry Lane, Belk. And that green might indicate we're getting more of a drop. Maybe some larger hail is starting to fall. So,
Big hail. Hail is not fun. Let's go back to the big picture, and Riley, switch over if we can to show the tornado watch. I just want to get people up to date who are maybe just joining us, because right now the tornado threat with all of this is very low. In fact, we have no tornado threat with what's happening. Not to say that there will not be one, but what we're looking at here is the tornado watch in place. That's for Cullman, Walker, Marion, Winston. Although Marion, you're in the clear. Winston, I think you're in the clear as well for any tornado threat. Lamar, you're about to be in the clear from a tornado threat. Pickens County will still have to watch because of these storms back here. Everywhere else, Birmingham Metro points to the east. That includes Tuscaloosa County, Bibb County. No watch is in place. I'm sure the National Weather Service, in conjunction with the SPC, is going to look at this line and determine, do we need to issue a severe thunderstorm watch, or is there enough of a favorable profile to issue a tornado watch? And as soon as they do that, we'll be able to update you. But again, tornado watch still for Cullman, for Walker, for Fayette, for Pickens. Lamar, you're going to be in the clear, although the watch is still in place. Marion, you're in the clear. And Winston, though it is loud. Yeah, go ahead.
They are coordinating a new watch with the SPC, but there's currently no word if this is going to be a severe thunderstorm or tornado. If it were my guess, it would probably be leaning towards a severe thunderstorm warning or a severe thunderstorm watch for places like Tuscaloosa, Greene, Hale, Sumter, Jefferson. That would be my guess, and that'll probably, if I had to guess, too, be coming out in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, so just a reset here for folks who have been talking about any tornado warning. There's not. Go ahead, Riley.
Yeah, I was about to say a tornado warning for Lamar. Yeah, that might be just a cancellation of the warning.
Yeah, long over. No tornado warnings in place right now at all. What we're looking at is a severe thunderstorm sort of event. And so that means for every shingle place in central Alabama, there's not currently a tornado
y'all
threat.
Ain't right. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all ain't right. I don't know what this all this shingle
Yeah,
talk
me neither.
came
I just tried to
from.
slip it in there. So again, big picture here. If you're seeing any alerts, sometimes those will be older, benign alerts. I'm not exactly sure how you'll get them on your phone. Sometimes it'll happen to me is I'll have my phone, and after the warning, it'll pop up. So that can sometimes happen on phones. The emergency alerts. I can tell you right now, there's not a tornado threat. So Riley, if we can, let's zoom in and just try to get a view of this Cullman to Fayette, just the whole area here, because it's loud. It's loud. Nobody wants to deal with this at 2:30 in the morning. Seeing us here at 2:30 in the morning. If you're in the Cullman area, you got this batch of thunderstorms coming in. If you are right here in Jasper Parish, here's the good news. You see how broken this line is up in front of here? There's not a severe threat with this at the moment. If you're in Lynn, if you're in Brilliant, if you're in Haleyville, if you're in Ewan, if you're in Nauvoo, the lead edge is passed. The severe threat's passed. Is the thunderstorm threat done? No. If you can't go to sleep with thunder, with lightning, you're probably going to be there for a little while longer. But this is what we call stratiform rain, okay? So this, while still heavy rain in some spots and still some rumbles of thunder, is much more benign than what we're seeing on the lead edge. We still have a hail core that is coming into Fayette here. So this, if you're looking at this whole map, okay, I look at this, and yes, I've just tried to cover everywhere I could, including central Walker County, parts of Cullman County, coming up to I-65. But all of this in here, yes, thunderstorms, but Alabamians, you can handle this because we get this in the summertime quite frequently. It's this down here, and man, we're going to have some hail reports coming in seriously about these locations here in Lamar as well as Fayette County. Riley, we seen anything else additionally with these?
Not yet. Well, somebody just said pea-sized hail. That's from the emergency manager. So hopefully that hail core is bottoming out. But looking at this, when you start to see the black get in there or the purple, that's when you can start wondering about the hail core. So we don't really have to worry about correlation anymore because we know there's hail. But now it's just looking at those reflectivity values and seeing how dark we get, because the purples, usually heavy rain, but you start seeing the blacks mix in there. That's usually a recipe for some larger hail, but Wicked Lightning, pea-sized hail, City of Fayette, Fayette Co-op Observer.
Absolutely. I totally believe that. I mean, I've chased over there in Fayette before, and right near the downtown, beautiful little downtown stretch here. But this is all just, I think this is all hail. I mean, quite honestly, you got 145 strikes in this small window here. Again, there's really nothing you can do about the hail. That's going to come down. It's going to be incredibly loud. You're probably maybe sheltered in your closet. You might be somewhere where you're trying to be safe. This is loud, and I can't help that. I'd hate it too. Hailstorms are no fun, and right now that is our biggest and really sole threat with this is hail. You might have some wind gusts with this, but lately we have not seen any reports of damaging winds, and that is certainly a good thing, and there's not a tornado threat at all associated with what is coming through right now. So if you're in the city of Fayette, if you're in Fayette County, what you're looking at here is pinks, okay? Here's our little legend up here. So when we get to the heavy, the reds, that's rain. You get beyond it and you start to see these pinks, even these little black returns, those are hailstones up there. So the radar's hitting that and it's saying, hey, there's either a ton of rain or there are hailstones. And in this case, we got some hailstones up there in that cloud, so or in that thunderstorm, the core of it. So this likely bottoming out over Fayette. Okay, so that round, you see how the pink dissipated? That probably means just about 5 minutes ago, we saw a tremendous amount of hail near State Route 96, right here coming into 96, downtown Fayette. These will typically oscillate, they'll pulse up, and when they bottom out with respect to that reflectivity, a lot of hails come down. So again, we don't like to be joining you. Thanks for letting us into your homes, your closets, wherever you might be. Right now, there's not a tornado threat. There is a hail threat, and it's for Fayette County. Let's back it up, Riley. Just show the big picture here for folks who might be asking, saying, hey, what are you yahoos doing on here at 2:33 in the morning? So for the time being, we're watching kind of an unfolding strong thunderstorm threat, severe thunderstorm threat that is currently moving through the state. Up in Fort Payne, extreme northern Cherokee County, you got a severe thunderstorm warning, but we've seen a downward trend on the northern end of this line. So yes, thunder and lightning up there, but things do not appear to be overly severe or overly notable in terms of any severe characteristics. There's been an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for Cullman, but we've not seen anything of note with the Cullman County system. All of this is moving from west to east, really southwest to northeast. So what you're seeing in Fayette, that's headed to Jasper. What you're seeing in Jasper is headed towards southern Cullman County. And there's going to be your motion. So for folks who are in Tuscaloosa, you're not far from Fayette. You might even be able to see the flashing lights from that Fayette thunderstorm. That is not coming your way. What is going to eventually be coming our way, and why this is such a drawn-out time frame, is because we've got stuff to the south and west back near Highway 45 in Mississippi. And that's eventually what's going to come into many of our southern locations. So if you're wondering the motion of this, if you are north of Birmingham, you're going to get this batch here pretty soon. And that's going to carry with it primarily a hail threat. Have not seen any wind reports with this. Doesn't mean we can't. Often when you have these downpours or these fallouts with hailstones, it pushes a lot of air to the surface. If you've ever been outside, and this will happen a lot in the summertime, and all of a sudden you feel a really cold wind. It's been 90 degrees all day, and you got a cold wind. That's the hail core, that's that really cold air in the upper part of the cloud. All of that mass is coming to the ground, and it can sometimes cause some gusty winds. So have not seen any reports of that, but when you got hail falling, which if you live downtown Fayette, we're looking at likely a hail core bottoming out. We talked about the potential for up to ping pong sized hail. Everyone knows what a ping pong ball looks like, right? You don't want that in the form of ice coming down. So not the time to go looking outside at the hailstones. If you get pictures of it and you want to send it in, I'd love to see that. If we have a way we can get those on the air, we absolutely will. But for the time being, maybe let that hail fall and then head back outside. So it looks like they're going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning there for the rest of Fayette County for hail, and that makes total sense. I'm seeing quarter-sized hail yeah, go ahead, Riley.
In communication with the National Weather Service, they are talking with the SPC about a tornado watch. Not overwhelming tornado potential, but it is enough to opt for a Tor watch instead of a severe watch. So a new watch is coming soon. Don't know the counties just yet, probably for a good chunk of central Alabama, closer to I-65. And this will be a tornado watch.
All right, good stuff there, Riley. So basically what that tells me is, okay, we're probably going to see more of this. These thunderstorms there's a decent amount of instability. You got to think, we got to 85 today. We warmed up. The atmosphere was relatively untapped. So even though it's nighttime and we're cooling, we still have some instability in place. And the biggest threat you'll get with storms with just an unstable atmosphere without a ton of wind shear are these hail-like storms, these hailers as we call them. So we'll watch very closely for that as we move forward. We've already had plenty of reports of hail in and around Fayette. I want to draw back to, for just a minute, for Mississippi, because a lot of folks asking, okay, when's this going to get here? So we've got a couple storms of note. So you got this polygon here. That's a confirmed tornado. Click on that, see what county that is. This is for Newton, Mississippi. So this is moving off to the northeast. If this holds on its track, if this holds together and can maintain its strength and intensity, this eventually would be headed towards Sumter in Pickens County. That's a long way off, okay? And that's why our time window is so broad here. There's also a potential that what's moving through here right now creates what we call an outflow boundary, and it stabilizes the atmosphere to some extent. So there's a good long ways to go. You're ways off from anything in Tuscaloosa, even Demopolis. We got another one here for Winston County, Mississippi. And that one's going to, again, be moving towards Pickens County. This one I've had zoomed in on the phone over here. We got radars everywhere trying to track this stuff for you. But for the time being, you know, this one had a warning on it a while ago. It doesn't look overly impressive, but hey, we're going to follow everyone that looks like it could be threatening here as we get into the early morning hours. It's 2:38. We would love to tell you guys to go to bed. And you know what, Riley, let's talk about the folks that, you know, minus the thunder and lightning, are probably in the clear here tonight. That would probably put a lot of people at ease here. It's not fun to stay up for these, but I think Marion and Winston County, I think you're good. You certainly get up into the shoals. It's still raining there, and we may have a lot of lightning with this. I mean, that's a big thing. It's not a severe weather parameter, but it scares you like one, right? You hear lightning, you cracks of thunder, and that's very startling in the middle of the night. So severe threat, I believe, is over for these counties, certainly back into Mississippi. We got to watch those storms there to the south as we move forward. Riley, you seen anything else? Anything you want to add here at this time?
Got hail in Belk, hail in downtown Fayette. I'm trying to see if folks on Facebook can stop talking about shingles and get some hail size, because you know, that is a determining factor in severe thunderstorm warning. It's got to be an inch or greater. If we got reports of ping pong sized hail, that can hurt. I mean, that can hurt a lot. We say helmets for tornado warnings, but if you're going to go outside, you're going to need some helmets for the hail as well. And there's still 209 lightning strikes in just those little areas. So, I mean, it's going to be a light show out there. I guarantee it.
Yeah, as long as we see the correlation with these lightning strikes continue to uptick here, that's a good bet that we still have a hail core aloft, whether it's small hail or large hail. And I got to say, we're seeing anything from quarter ping pong down to about dime size hail. None of that's fun, especially if you got a tin roof. Let me tell you, that's incredibly loud. We've got like one part of our roof at my mom's house is tin. And I mean, when it's raining, it sounds like hail, but when it's hailing, it sounds like, you know, the roof's coming down. So understand, a lot of folks probably a little bit alarmed by that. Fayette, you're past the hail core here, Old Town as well. So if you're in the downtown Fayette area, things should be improving from that standpoint. But here's your hail core, and this is County Road 53. Smack over that, about 2.5 miles or so to the northeast of Fayette. And this is headed up towards Fowler's Crossroads, if you know where Cedar Grove Church is. We plotted a lot of these churches on here in hopes that, you know, everyone knows kind of where some of these are from a landmark perspective and would know. There is currently not any tornado threat right now. What they're about to do is issue, the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, I think they're about to issue a tornado watch. Essentially what that is there could be a tornado. The threat is not zero. It's just not very high. So in order to make sure we all stay aware of what the threats are overnight, they're probably going to go ahead and issue a tornado watch for the rest of central Alabama. If we hop on over to the show prep, Riley, I think I have the watch map in there without any of the radar, so we can see. Here is what we've got right now. This big green, everyone's in a flash flood watch, and we could probably toggle that off at some point because we are looking at, again, everybody has the potential for some very heavy rain. We have a flash flood warning in place for all of Marion County, all of Lamar County. If you're in Sullivan, if you're in Vernon, you're still having loud thunderstorms, but you should essentially be in the clear from any sort of severe threat, certainly of a tornado threat, because you're behind the line. So Lamar County, Marion County, and Winston County, those appear to be locations that are behind that line. So the one in Fayette County is the one we're watching, and this is going to be headed up towards the Carbon Hill area, eventually crossing over I-22, likely just to the west of Jasper. We'll have to wait and see, but as of right now, there is no tornado threat on this map. And again, a lot of us, we focus on the tornadoes and the winds, and you're like, oh, we don't want that. Well, you don't want hail either. We don't get it a ton. I tell you, you're getting a good hailstorm though, and it's no fun. Certainly if you got kids, that'll wake them up, have you, and there's really nowhere you can go for hail. It just comes down in droves, and the one in Fayette, as I've mentioned here, is headed into Walker County, and then we'll continue to monitor what's back into Mississippi. So we'll update you if they do issue that new tornado watch. As of now, it's not populated just yet, so we'll wait and see when that is and how long it is going to go for here in central Alabama. We haven't hopped into that one in Cullman County for a while, Riley. Well, let's hop on into that, and you talk about maybe what you're seeing versus not seeing there with respect to any sort of severe threats.
Well, 10 lightning strikes in a severe thunderstorm warning, usually not a good indication of anything severe. We'll check on the velocity, see if there's any winds. Not really. That's pulling from Columbus. That's pulling from Birmingham, pulling from High Top up in Huntsville, and Montgomery just can't reach that far. So probably just out of the course of least regret, as we are seeing different reports of hail and some of these other storms further down to the south and west. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning for Cullman County. This will go until 3:30, likely due to the chance of hail, but really it just looks really messy no matter what look we give it. Go back to Columbus. Yeah, we still have some fairly heavy rain, some lightning, but really just nothing too impressive. Maybe some lightning, especially down here near Ardell, the Smith Lake Dam. Great trout fishing, by the way. Still have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for a good chunk of Fayette County. There still might be some hail falling. That is County Road 53, Fowler Road, State Road, Route 102, Pender Road. Might have some hail falling, but that's likely the area of concern right now. Cullman, just not a lot to suggest that much of anything's happening up there.
Just a note, we were on TV. I did not realize that. We're going to hop off of TV since there's no tornado warning. We have the ability to stay on
There's
social.
a tornado watch.
So yeah, we'll stay on here for a little while, at least until things look a little bit more benign. So Riley, you want to talk about this new watch?
So we have a new tornado watch. This will expire until 10 a.m. Basically for our entire viewing area. This will include Tuscaloosa, it will include Birmingham, does include Blount County, Cullman, you were already in the watch, Etowah, Calhoun, Gadsden, Anniston, Talladega, Sylacauga, Clanton, Shelby County. Basically, if you're watching us, if you can watch us on TV, you are in a tornado watch until 10 a.m. But just remember too, it's not it's not a very overwhelming threat to see tornadoes, but there is the chance, like with any quasi-linear convective system or a good old squall line, that we have a spin-up tornado that won't last too long. That tornado that impacted the northern portions of Pickens County, it didn't really last too long. It spun up real quickly, but it didn't really last long at all. But basically the entire viewing area, if you can watch us on TV, you are in this tornado watch. But there's no guarantee a tornado will happen, just conditions are favorable for an isolated tornado or two to occur?
Yeah, so really the update here is that tornado watch is in place. So again, just to recap on this, and most of you probably know it, but a tornado watch means that over the next several hours, conditions are possible to have a tornado. A warning means it's imminent. We have reason to believe that there is one. So a watch, it just means we're literally watching for it. We'll keep an eye out. As of now, we do not have a tornado threat. We do have a hail threat, and by golly, it's been a pretty good one here. We've seen several areas that have reported up to ping pong sized hail right on the Fayette County and Lamar County line. This is headed up towards Walker County. So Riley, we'll zoom in on that one. We're getting pretty close to, I think we might even be able to switch over radar sites soon as this gets a little further along. But Carbon Hill, it's really loud. If you're in Lynn, it's probably really loud. And this is eventually going to move into central Walker County. Now, something I do think we'll see the evolution, this is going to start to weaken. Do you know why? Because we've had rain in the same location that this is moving. So there's the thunderstorm that's in question, that's had the hail. This is moving into an area that's already seen rain near Jasper. So what we'll probably see is a downtrend in lightning strikes, a downward trend in hail reports, because this is not going to have that unlimited instability to work with that it did when it was back even just about the last 20 or so minutes. So that's the trends we kind of look for here, and I'm not seeing, at least on that last scan or this scan, any definitive area. If we do have hail within this, it's going to be right here. This is going to be over towards Fowler's Crossroad, and then here's I-22, so to give you a good idea here, there's Carbon Hill, there's Jasper, there's Oakman, and this is all moving in that direction. Again, this is not a tornado warning. For those of you saying a tornado watch just came through, yes, all of our central Alabama counties now have a tornado watch. And again, a watch means it's possible over the next several hours. It does not mean we will have one. There's not one imminent right now. In fact, none of these thunderstorms have exuded any notion that there's going to be a tornado with them, which is great. The reason they called it a tornado watch instead of severe is there's still just a little chance that we see something spin up. The biggest threats here, though, moving forward are going to be from hail and from gusty winds. If you're in Vernon, if you're in Millport, if you're in Celigent, if you're in Guin, if you're in Hamilton, you can head to bed. You might have some rumbles of thunder. I think you can head to bed because we are not going to see anything of severity with this. Again, here's the one in Fayette County. We're kind of bouncing between radar sites. So is this the Columbus one?
This is Birmingham.
Okay.
And go back to Columbus. It doesn't look quite as impressive on Columbus because purple's really gone.
Yeah, we're right in between, so we're probably hitting this at two very similar angles here. But nevertheless, if we've got hail, it's right along Highway 13 here. Thank goodness, Fayette, it's still probably loud. You're still having rumbles of thunder and lightning, but we're probably looking at the end of the hail, the end of the severe threat as of now. You're still in the polygon here, including Gumbud, Coven, Belk, areas in southwestern Fayette County. But the concerning part of this storm is up right over Fowler's Crossroads. And there's Highway 13. And so if you're in Eldridge, if you're in Carbon Hill, if you're in Flatwood, these locations just to the south and west of I-22, you're next up. So hail is no fun. It's very loud. And we've had a lot of lightning strikes with this as well. And that's, most of the reports we're coming in are for hail. And that's not a surprise by any means. But as of right now, the tornado threat appears to be non-existent across this part of the state. So yes, there's a tornado watch in Gadsden. There's a tornado watch everywhere. So Riley, let's back out and let's show that. A lot of people asking about that. This is going to go until, well, we can click on it and figure out how long it's going to go till.
10 a.m.
All right, so that's a very long time. Now understand, it's 10 a.m. everywhere. That threat's going to end at different times. They've put this on the maximum, like far out, okay? Because you're thinking, it's 3 in the morning. We got another 7 hours of this. It's not going to be severe the whole time. This just covers all grounds. And it's a tornado watch, which means conditions are possible to favor a tornado over that span of time up until 10 a.m. There's no imminent threat. So if you're getting this alert at home, if you're looking at your weather radio and you're going, oh, dang it, here we are at 2:50 and we're waking up. We're just going to watch. I think the bigger threat, the most imminent threat that we're seeing right now is for hail, and we've seen that up to ping pong size, and perhaps some gusty winds. The wind profiles haven't looked great. The instability values, though, have, which is why we've had these hail cores. But we'll watch Again, everywhere in central Alabama is under that tornado watch. I will say this, Winston, Marion, even Lamar, probably going to peel those away pretty quickly. So
technically, those watches have been canceled
Okay.
for. Let's see, they canceled for Pickens and Walker. Well, never mind. They expired the tornado watch for Fayette, Lamar, Marion, and Winston. So Fayette, Lamar, Marion, Winston, you are in the clear from the
Awesome.
looks of it. But everywhere else, they said they're going to do a special weather statement as we go into Walker County.
That's another great sign, is because when you start to get below that severe thunderstorm warning threshold, that shows a downward trend. And I just said a few minutes ago, I think we're going to start to see a downward trend with this, or at least I think we will. Here's the thunderstorm here, but it's moving into an area that currently is seeing a lot of rain, thunderstorms, and there's only so much energy to be had in the atmosphere. So you move into a more stable environment that's already had the rain, and we typically see a weakening trend here. But still, right over Fowler's Crossroads, that's where that hail core would be. Still seeing a lot of lightning strikes, but even that number is starting to go down, which is good news as this moves towards. So to get your bearings here, this is Walker County. Here's I-22. Here is Marion County. Ewan, you're in the clear. You're not far from this, but you're in the clear. Brilliant, you're in the clear. I wouldn't go outside at 2:52 in the morning, but we're clear of the severe threats. The issue moving forward is going to be places near Carbon Hill. Right along I-22. And to be clear, there's not a tornado threat with this right now. Yes, you might be getting alerts on your weather radios that say tornado watch, and the Storm Prediction Center has been on the safe side and done a tornado watch. I think 95% plus are going to be warnings for non-tornadic storms as we move through the rest of the overnight here. But we will watch this very closely. Let's get an update on the Coleman cell, because folks have been asking about that a little bit as well. And that's then the other one. This has been under a severe thunderstorm. This is not, I don't think there's anything severe here. So not to down talk this if you're there. I'm sure it is, it's loud. We've got about 18 lightning strikes in the last 10 minutes. So Sulphur Springs over to Dodge City, all the way down to Arkadelphia, near Wilburn, up to Berlin, over to Holly Pond, and into Blount County. It's raining, probably raining hard. We don't have severe wind gusts here, and we do not have hail here that is of severe limits. So yes, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in place. It's been in place for I think about 30 minutes or so. Riley, we'll click into this and see when it's about to, or when it's going to expire, because I'm assuming it has to be soon. 3:30. Okay, they'll probably expire that early. There's nothing severe here in this polygon. So again, if you're watching us in Coleman County, there's a severe thunderstorm warning, but it certainly looks like a downward trend in this cell. Let's keep going east to show folks perhaps where this line is headed. And looking back towards Gadsden, Etowah County, Center, Weiss Lake, Fort Payne. This is basically paralleling I-59 right now, and this is going to pass. Southern Edge might clip Weiss Lake here, Center, maybe Bogan Mountain. This will eventually head over into Georgia. If you live in Gadsden, if you live in Asheville, Springville, areas further down I-59, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to you. We'll pan even further to the south. We'll switch over to Birmingham as well. And for folks who might be like, what am I doing watching in Ashland? I just got this notification of a tornado watch. They just issued it for the rest of our counties. And while the tornado threat is low moving forward, it's not zero. So you got us too to deal with here through the next several hours. And we'll continue to watch. If you're in Talladega, Ragland, Pell City, Childersburg, Sylacauga, you probably got a couple hours before this stuff's going to move on through. We'll put this in a loop, Riley, and show, because this can be confusing to track. We sometimes have weather that is in Jasper and comes to Birmingham, or in Fayette and comes to Tuscaloosa. Not the case. This is all moving off to the east, northeast. That's the trajectory. So a lot of these areas east of Birmingham along I-20, you're several hours away. You probably go catch some shut-eye, have your weather radio close by, but no need to stick with us if you are in some of these locations, because we're just well off. I mean, Clanton, we may not see some rain or storms in these areas until closer to daybreak. And so that'll be, obviously something that we watch moving forward. But for the time being, there's no tornado threat. It's been a hail threat. That threat appears to be coming down to some extent. Fayette County folks, thanks for hanging with us there. I know that can be loud and can be scary. It appears that the threat is gradually moving away from the Fayette, at least downtown Fayette area, and into Walker County. You got any updates there, Riley?
So far, nothing, but I am going to change it back over to Columbus and check on this storm in the southern, or just south of West Point and Columbus. Right now, it's just severe thunderstorm warned. Not really a lot of rotation with that, but I did see flashing purple. We don't have any radar data, at least here in the house down here, but we do have yet again another confirmed tornado warning for Newton County, Mississippi. Another tornado warning down here for Simpson County, Mississippi. But right now, we only have severe thunderstorm warnings, and the severe thunderstorm warnings in Fayette will likely be expiring, and a special weather statement will be in place for Walker County. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in Mississippi for Macon and Lowndes County, but it doesn't really look like there's a lot of rotation with this at all. Put on storm relative. Yeah, they're probably warning this for either straight line winds or hail, if I had to guess. But let's say if you're in Pickersville, Carrollton, Aliceville, give it about 30, 40 minutes, and this line will be knocking at your door pretty soon. It's probably going to be loud. There's 300, and the further west I go into Mississippi, it just jumped up to 434 lightning strikes. So, you're going to get a light show, and you're going to get heavy rain, maybe some hail, but at least with this particular storm in Macon County and Lowndes County, Mississippi, there's no evidence of a tornado with that. So people who are concerned by that cell, you can rest easy with that one.
All right, let's see. It does not look like, so for folks up in Marion who are saying they're still under the tornado watch, I'm showing here that they've canceled it. And I'll tell you this, that the tornado threat's not anymore in Marion County. Okay, here's the updated one. If you're getting any alerts for that, they may be old. These are the counties that have been peeled away. Marion, Winston, Lamar, and Fayette counties. Yes, I know Fayette, it's probably very loud. It's still storming there. Understandably, you might be like, what? But they've peeled away the tornado watch there. And what they're going to do is continue to peel away the watch. Birmingham's really good at that because it's very quick. This is not a prolonged tornado threat. It's going to be, you get a batch and then you're gone. If you're in Pickens County, we still have a storm on the other side of the state line to watch. So I've had a couple questions about Pickens County. We'll be watching what comes out of Mississippi. For those in Birmingham and points to the south, you've got Hoover, Pelham, Alabaster, Calera. We're a ways off from having any threats. In fact, some of y'all could probably go take a little snooze, get some rest. If things do intensify, we'll be able to update you. A lot of the reports I'm getting now is just the lightning flashes are nuts, and they certainly are. That comes with a hail threat. Lightning numbers are coming down to some extent. If you're in Cullman County, it's going to be loud. There's thunder, there's lightning, but that's not a severe thunderstorm right now. I think they're going to let that warning ride out. But if you're in Cullman, you're actually in probably a better situation than some folks in Walker County are, and there's not a warning there either. There's a special weather statement. So for the time being, things are winding down just a little bit here, and that is certainly good news. I think what we might do here, just to kind of regroup, is leave up the radar, kind of do a reset here, and look through some of the messages, any reports, and then we'll come back to you on our social media feed here, because this is, again, not to say a lull, but I'm not sure why I'm not sure why these places are getting tornado watch alerts here, Riley.
Well, if they're getting it from their weather radio, I know the Winfield radio transmitter is down.
Okay.
So if they're pulling from if they're pulling from a county that just got issued into a watch, that could be some sort of a communication issue, but I know the Winfield weather radio transmitter is down.
Okay, so I'll read this straight from the National Weather Service. So at 2:57, the tornado watch was canceled for Fayette, Marion, Winston. Okay, so those are, and Lamar as well. So those counties, for those of you who are watching on Facebook or or YouTube, those counties have been omitted. I'm not sure where the alert is coming from, but we can tell you from the National Weather Service, and I could just tell you from looking at this map, there's no longer a threat for tornadoes in this part of the state. That threat will exist to the south to some degree. I said it earlier, I think about 95% of what we see here, if we do get the warnings, are going to be for severe thunderstorms, for gusty winds, and as we've seen, for hail. So again, canceled tornado watch for Lamar, Fayette, Marion, and Winston. The severe thunderstorm warning has also been allowed to expire for Fayette County, so it shows up here, and that basically puts us severe weather free for the time being. So what we'll probably do, step off here for a few minutes. We're going to watch the radar, regroup, and then we'll come back on here if need be. We're not trying to scare anybody by popping on the air. We're just trying to pass along information. And know this, summary, we've got hail out there. We got a lot of lightning. That's not fun for anybody. I don't care if you're grown, if you're a kid. That can be scary, it can be loud. Obviously the hail's been a problem. But right now, most of what we're seeing is below severe limits. By good bet. Still can be scary, yes. Heavy rain, absolutely. A lot of lightning, for sure. And there could even be some smaller hail out there. But for the time being, there's absolutely no tornado threat with anything coming through central Alabama. There is no straight line damaging wind threat for the moment. And the hail threat appears to have subsided again with that cell that coming out of Fayette has merged with this one already in Walker County, and that has weakened a good bit. So we're going to take a break, regroup. We'll watch what's coming out of Mississippi. We'll have another update coming up probably around 3:30, sooner if we need to. Thank you everyone for the reports. We'll try to keep things going on social media and keep stuff coming. But again, everybody stay safe. Have a good night. Hopefully you can catch some sleep. And again, we'll be here with another update at about 3:30 or sooner if need be. Have a good night.